Peace and Black Power. We got the mighty brother Azzaziel. I haven't seen this brother in a minute. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, my brother Baba? All right.
And now I'm noticing you got these patches on, brother 666, and you know, what's that all about?
Well, you know, brother, anybody that know me know that that's what I deal with, the magic, the voodoo, and all of that, because what is that? Our culture. You know, it's been anything that this colonized society has given you, you got to turn it all around now for it to work for you. When you talk about voodoo, that's the name of a Moorish pirate. His name was Vodun, and he's coming from the Congo, rode ships all the way down to South America, teaching all the sciences of the shamanism all the way down throughout Africa and all the way to South America. And so we look at voodoo as something that you may have learned on television through mind control and all of that, thinking that it's something evil. But voodoo was really a Native American, an African, or whatever country where there was indigenous folk that would use herbs and magic and trees and grass and all of that to heal the people. Okay, so what happened was I worked at the Botanical Gardens, right? And a lot of people don't know, and that's in the Bronx. A lot of people don't know that at the Botanical Gardens, the chemical company called Pfizer's is up there. And they take all those herbs and they change them into pills. Now, when you get an illness, when we was colonized, the word demon became the word illness. So anytime you feel you got an illness of any sort, in actuality, it's more spiritual than physical, meaning that it is a demon. You understand? So I'd say about 7 or 8 years ago, I stopped eating meat because I found out that meat have demons in them. When you eat meat, that meat goes into your body, and first of all, it has a hard time digesting it because you're not a meat eater, you don't have the teeth for that. So what happens is that meat seeks to turn you into the same dead meat that you just ate, which is a carcass. Those demons that are in that meat seeks to make you rot, make your flesh rot, put you in the ground so that it can continue, so those entities or those energies continue to eat on your flesh. And so anybody who dies before the age of 90, check this out, anybody who dies before the age of 90 was killed. And it's all around you. Everything around you is designed to deplete your life force. And that's why every time you turn around, they bring they set the retirement age up to, I think, 60 something like that. You shouldn't be retiring at no 60. You should be working or striving to become like your ancestors. We're nothing like our ancestors who lived, some of them lived 900 years. There are people alive today that's 400, 500, 600, 700, 800 years old. And that's a proven fact. So voodoo, witch doctor, and all of that stuff is made to look bad, so that if I had a book that I don't want you to read, I'm going to go to the section of the store and put it in the demon section. Your ass ain't going over there. Right. Because I don't want you to have that information. Right.
Now, let's, while we on that, when the Haitians revolted and whooped the French ass, what did they use?
They used Toussaint Overture with his boy Henry Christophe, called down an entity that helped them kick the white boy ass. But unfortunately, after Toussaint Overture, Henry Christophe took over, and they rebelled against him because he started killing fucked up niggas too. He was killing the white boy, but then he started saying, yo, these niggas that bringing that Christian shit over here gotta go. And so what happened was they got rid of him instead. But no one was able to put the demon or the entity back to sleep. So now Haiti is over there with, and they do have shamans and voodoo priests and all that up there, but they live in the mountains. That's why they get caught in that earthquake, you see. But the regular people, they into the Christianity and all that other stuff, and they don't know how to put the demon back to sleep, you see. Once you awaken that entity, just like you making an ngenge, it stays there unless you know how to dissipate that energy, you see. Just like mind control in New York here, all these people walking around, the walking dead or sleep, we got to learn how to get rid of that entity that was put into them through Willie Lynch and other technologies that we see today dealing with mind control, and still continue today. So voodoo, like this tree right here, my brother. Voodoo is knowing about what this tree is and knowing nature. This is what's called a honey locust. Now, if you out here, brother, when those long pods start to grow, those long pods are called wild candy. Those pods are edible. That is food. The best food you could find in New York, one of the best places to find food in New York, are right here on the streets of New York. Okay? Because if you get it from the parks, for those of you who know your herbs and know your trees, if you get it from the parks, they spray the park. If you get it from the botanical garden, they don't spray it as much, but they spray those too. Okay? So the best food is where you live, your vibration. You live in New York, your vibration is New York, you need to get your food from New York. You understand? Just like you don't eat no watermelon in the winter. It's like that. Or you don't go to a foreign country and drink the water, because that's not your vibration. Your vibration is here in New York. So this is what I call, the botanical name is called the Glavitzia. The Glavitzia, this is what the voodoo priests knew. This is what the shamans knew. This is what we don't know, okay? And scared of. If I stop the average person right now and ask them, what is this right here? He's just gonna say tree and don't know nothing else about it. But yet you walk by it every day. You stand here with it every day. And it is edible. This is a Glavitzia tree or a honey locust. That food in about a month, there's food that's gonna be growing on there. Eat those pods while they're green, okay? There are trees where I set up down the block called the birch tree. You can eat those leaves, and if you eat them for 1 week, will heal every organ and every illness in your body if you eat them for 1 week. Just go up and pull a leaf off the tree or wash it off or whatever. You could actually eat these leaves right here. See this? Boom, look at that. Delicious. You could actually eat these leaves. I'll go get me a plate of some raw food, and I gotta throw me some tree leaves up in that motherfucker. I'm a tree eating nigga. You understand? All right? So that's what that's all about. Now 666, we all know that's carbon. Everybody know that's carbon. If you don't know by now, you better ask somebody. Okay? So stay away from carbon, which is black. Okay, you are 666. You understand me? What else? Baphomet. Oh, come on now. How many brothers done broke down the science of Baphomet? Do I have to break that down for you, brother?
Break it down.
Break down Baphomet. Baphomet have a strong history. I'll break down one aspect of it. And the original Knights Templars, who a lot of people say they were Europeans. They were not Europeans because of the word knight. The word knight wasn't used to describe nighttime. It was used to describe the dark skin of the Moors. You were a knight because you were dark. And so they took that darkness that looked like you and called, when the sun goes down, they call that night also, based on your skin. Ain't got nothing to do with a European. So knight and shining armor, anytime you see that word knight, it's dealing with darkness. You were the knight, okay? And then when you put on the silver armor, you were the knight, the black man, in a shining armor. In which later you were chased out of Spain and became the pirates, and now the Jolly Roger flag, which is the skull and bone flag with the black around it. Well, guess what? That wasn't the original pirate flag. That was a flag that the Moors, who had retired from doing piracy, and they were selling the color black. And so they flew the black flag to show other ships that we sell the color black, because there was no color on the earth, including black. Europeans didn't know nothing about color. We brought color to their civilization. And there's a long history and science to the color black, dealing with the Moors and the sale of it by the ex-pirates. The color black, if you see the average brother walking down the street with a black shirt on, or a black jacket or whatever, or black pants, that is not black. That is a mixture of blue, red, and green, appears to be black. True black, when you put it out in the sun, the average piece of clothes, when you put it out in the sun, it changes color. Okay, it won't be black no more. But black, true black, will stay black. Matter of fact, just like some of our skin, you get blacker in the sun. You don't fucking fade out to a brown. You hear me, my brother? So that can't be black.
Right.
You understand? And so, and of course, here is what I call the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper is the flag of the North Pole. That's because the Big Dipper is the center of the galaxy from which all information comes down to, even down to this planet. Okay, so the Big Dipper points to Polaris, where all this energy that comes down from Polaris creates polarity, which is male, female energies, left brain, left, right, and all of that. 2 feet, 2 eyes, and so forth. That is polarity. And this is Polaris, which this symbol of the flag is a pattern in which, if you go watch Dancing with the Stars, they star step. They step in those patterns of different stars. Okay? So those stars that you step in creates and brings down a certain energy, which is a long talk on that, but I'd suffice to say that is the basics of it. Okay, and of course, I gotta have my Moorish nationality seal on, okay? Because we are all Moors, which come from the word Mu, and there's a whole history of that, and you can let some Moorish brothers drop that on you. All right?
I noticed a few years ago you and your wife went up to, I think it was Toronto.
We went to Nova Scotia.
Yeah, Nova Scotia. Give me a little history, because I went up there and I noticed most of our people speak with a distinct patois. Now, is that because of go into the Jamaican, the Maroons, and how some of our people got over there, how that got to be those dialects?
Well, the Jamaican Maroons fought the British when they were up in, when Napoleon tried to take Canada. But the Nova Scotia was called the Money Pit. The Money Pit is where the Moors left their treasures and buried their treasures up there, where most of the presidents from that time to now are still over there digging, and they now gated it off so you can't even go in that section until they find that gold. But most of them got killed going down in those tunnels trying to find it. The Moors hid it so well. But Nova Scotia is basically dealing with, or the people that live there are the ancestors of the Maroons. You have a whole strip like this here, 125th Street, that's named after Colonel James Montague of the Jamaican Maroons. Okay, so even though Canada is still part of the British Columbia, but they separated themselves from the Britain, so-called Britain, or so-called separation from Britain, as in Europe. Okay, just like we are so-called separated from Britain and Europe, but really they still have an underhand or control most of what goes on here.
Right.
Okay, so that is, if anyone ever goes to Nova Scotia, they have a museum up there called the African, in a village in Nova Scotia called Africanville, or Africville. And in that Africville, all the land, they own all the land, all the houses and all of that. In Africville, they have this awesome museum with some dynamite history that most of us never even heard of. The hockey comes from us. It's right, Canada. Okay, they got all the paraphernalia and all of that up in there. A lot of people don't know. Y'all know Jack Johnson, right?
Yes, sir.
That's supposed to be the baddest nigga ever fought. Well, do you know there was a guy named Sam Langford, and I found this out up in Nova Scotia. There was a guy named Sam Langford who was 4 feet tall and blind and knocked his ass out. Now that's a bad motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
Okay? So that's the type of history, and that's why you have to travel. You have to travel. I mean, there's information all over the world, and I'm shifting gears though. I'm going more toward the shamanism, or more toward the nature aspects of it, because that is where everyone's have to go there eventually. Because we already know that they're already, in certain countries, they're already limiting how much food you could buy. You can only buy food, I think it's in either Brazil or one of those countries, already implicated where you can only buy food once a week. You know damn well that's headed this way. You know damn well that's headed this way. So we all locked into this program mind control system, and you're gonna have to start tapping within and finding out what skills, what can I do, what did I like as a child that I could tap into to now create for myself and do for myself, because that's what jobs is all about, so that you don't give that energy to those thoughts and give those energies to the person that decided to bring a store. Let's take this dude's energy and focus it into our stuff. You understand? That's what that's all about.
So, and to add on to that is the practice of Wiccan. Is that our stuff?
That's our stuff.
The white folks always...
The word witch means wise one.
Okay.
Okay? Wisdom. And that was the crone, or the female witch, or wise one, was the older woman. And I have Blackamoor and all these other tapes that I break all that history down. You had women, there are 3 types of women. They go through 3 stages. Those 3 stages are before menstrual cycle, during menstrual cycle, and after menstrual cycle. The reason why the woman after menstrual cycle was called the witch or the wise one, or Lilith and all of that, is because all that she was losing through the menstrual cycle, she now retains through her blood. And she doesn't lose all those powerful ferrocene iron and all these things you lose during menstrual cycle. Now there are women that don't menstruate, which is excellent. And they are very powerful, but they don't understand their power, you see. Now before menstrual cycle, and you see a lot of missing females. They're missing because the European gets them because they're about to enter puberty, and when they enter puberty, they project out the most powerful energy. You actually curl up when you get those cramps into a spiral, and they use that energy, that spiraling energy, underneath the delta T antenna to channel it to make shit happen out here. Okay, so they know all about the spiritual aspects, they know all about the shamanism, but you have to be scared of it, so that you, because you with the melanin and your ancestry, it's all inside you, waiting. It's just waiting for you to open up and receive it. And trust me, my brother, I've been dealing with nature, and it will tell you things and do things for you. You can talk to these trees. They are living creatures. Okay, you can talk to these trees, and of course magic wands and even my magical Heru staff is made out of oak wood. They all have different science to them, and they all mean different things. Okay, so tap into nature, and that's where your power is going to be, not in what we call program European society, which most of it is not European, because we taught them how to do all these things. But when you see squares, these buildings are all squares. Okay, though we didn't live in squares, we lived in pointed tents so the energy could flow, like pyramids, tents and caravans. We didn't have no stores. We set up just like we do on the streets. That's in your genetics to set up on the street, because you set up in caravans and tents. You didn't go inside no box. You understand? That stagnates your energy. All these windows, if you go to look at all the new buildings, you can't open them. They don't allow you to open the windows in the buildings no more. It's cold in their offices and stuff. And the windows are melanated, so they don't get they're trying to stop the radiation that comes through the bricks and still give them cancer. They get cancer at night from the sun. They get cancer through the buildings that get sun. So they put the melanated windows on the buildings so that they don't get that radiation. Okay?
Powerful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for giving me your time, brother, and it's good to see you.
No problem, my brother. Always good. Yes, always good. I see you've been around for a while yourself, my brother, doing the good work. Always good to see you. I saw you from across the street, so I said, let me go over there and say peace to the brother.
Thank you, brother.